partnerships that were formed during this process, a brief overview of practical functional assessment and skill-based treatment, values behind the skill-based treatment process, treatment utility, building capacity in the public school setting, and we'll end on Maddie's story. Forest Hills Eastern partnered with CAT ISD, Grand Valley State's START project, and FTF Behavioral Consulting. Practical functional assessment, understanding problem behavior prior to its treatment. If you scan the QR code, it will take you to the Practical Functional Assessment website. This website includes relevant publications, video tutorials with associated PowerPoint files, workbooks, implementation materials, narrated videos posted by behavior analysts who have implemented ISCAs, and lessons learned from their experiences, along with much more. The practical functional assessment process starts by asking questions in the form of an open-ended interview. Then, based on the information obtained from those who know and love the student best, an environment is designed, an environment in which the likelihood of problem behavior is 0. Next, the analysis is completed. This is where we're empowering the learner. And finally, the team ends in reflection, determining if safety, dignity, and rapport were followed throughout the process. The goals of the practical functional assessment are to bring joy, turn on problem behavior, and turn off problem behavior. Skill-based treatment of severe problem behavior. Scan the QR code to take you to FTF's Behavioral Consulting website, where you can learn more on skill-based treatment. Skill-based treatment is intermittent and unpredictable reinforcement of life skills, including functional communication, delay and denial toleration, and cooperation. It uses strategies of task analysis, differential reinforcement, and shaping. It includes personalized and synthesized reinforcement, and it's performance-based. We need to follow a humane and dignified process, free from trauma. Then we're going to learn by listening. We're going to start by asking questions. You get parent and teacher buy-in when you treat them like an expert because they are the expert on their child and student. Then we're going to learn by creating joy. We're going to create a context in which the probability of problem behavior is 0. Create a context where the student would not want to be anywhere else in the world but there. And then we're going to teach from joy. Joy is where you find motivation. We're going to learn by empowering. We're going to teach the student that they don't need to escalate to get their needs met. He or she is going to communicate. We are going to see that and reinforce. This is where we start creating trust. And finally, we're going to learn while teaching skills. We're going to shape essential skills like communication, toleration, and cooperation. Progressively teaching through shaping, which is being very responsive to your learner. We're always going to put values over procedures. If at any time during the process you don't know what to do, you're going to go back to your priorities of safety, dignity, and rapport. What's the safest thing to do right now? Do that, even if that means reinforcing severe problem behavior. We value safety over the procedures. What is likely to build rapport between you and the student? What's going to keep that relationship that you guys have built? Do that. What's the most dignified for the learner? Do that. Reinforce the behavior before it gets emotional. Always allow for time, space, and grace. The practical functional assessment and skill-based treatment process has been supported by years of peer-reviewed research. It's been replicated by research groups in the United States and internationally. You can visit the publication section of the Practical Functional Assessment website to review these articles yourself. QR code to learn more about how FTF is building capacity in the public school setting through on-demand courses, consultation services, and the Train the Trainer model.
Steps did you have to take in order to get the SBT process implemented? And you were the lead implementer. So what steps did you need to take prior before you felt like, okay, we can have success with this?
So, kind of the basics was a training through FTF Consultant Group, doing that online and working with a graduate assistant to think about how to plan things were really the biggest steps to take. That was a big chunk of time to get that done and to have some knowledge and some planning for it. But even before we got there, we had parent interviews that we conducted. Actually, we worked with ISD to do those, and some reinforcement surveys with Maddie to see the type of things that she would want to have available to her for her reinforcement phase. And really just working with Emma and her team to say, logistically, where could we do this? What time can we do this? When, would you want us there? What are some of the barriers that we have in place for this? And really getting all of those steps in place allowed me to be the lead so that I could kind of just take down those barriers and make sure that we had enough humans to do it. And then we were able to start with her. About Maddie, how long you've known her, and some of the things that you just love about her.
I've known Maddie about a year, a little bit over a year. My number one thing is I love her sense of humor. I think she is hilarious. I love that I can joke with her. I can tell a joke. I think she understands like my sarcasm and when I'm being silly, which I just love. I also love how much she wants to be at school. She loves her peers. She loves to be a part of a community and a part of this class, which I adore about her. I appreciate how musical she is. She has an amazing sense of rhythm, her dancing. I love listening to her sing. She has a wonderful singing voice. And her personality is just, I really think she's infectious. Like, she makes me smile. She makes the class smile. She makes everybody really happy to be at school. She's missed whenever she's not here. Like today, she's not here.
You know Maddie, and what qualities, when you first met her, did you just instantly love about her?
I've known Maddie since she was in preschool, and my work with her has been, helping with some of those problem behaviors over the years and, helping her with the transitions among the classrooms that she moved through since preschool. And to echo what Emma said, really her personality and her interests are really easy to enjoy with her. She and her peers get along really well because they have a lot of the same shared interests. She genuinely loves to connect with people, and I think that it makes it really easy to connect with her. She's got a great memory, and she can find some nice little memories and connections that she brings up oftentimes when you see her again. I think I also really appreciate this year about her that she's been willing to try new things. I think as humans, that's really difficult for anybody of any ability or age range. And I really appreciate that about her this year. Why don't you tell us about some of the concerns that you had and some of those, tricky or dangerous behaviors that led you to think that she might be a good candidate for skills-based treatment?
Sure. Property destruction. So destroying anything in my room, ripping things off the walls, flipping desks, throwing chairs, tipping over the break wall, scratching herself. She's not one to be physical, but if you're in her vicinity, she would go after people. Some things at the start of the year became more of like boundary pushing, like things like spraying me with soap, breaking a popcorn machine, like swatting things off, clearing tabletops, and screaming. Swearing is a big issue. Stomping, yelling, overall refusal, but mainly the swearing and the property.
FTF describes the goals, the long-term goals, as contextually appropriate behaviors. And for short, we talk about them as CABs. So could you explain just a brief overview of what Maddie's CABs were and why those were chosen for her?
Sure. So we actually changed her CABs throughout the process because we had a lot of new learning with Maddie in this process. And I'm really grateful for that because I think we'll be able to carry it on to other students in the future. But really for her, we wanted to look at a leisure area for her for one of her CABs. And we gave her a choice, and it's still a choice, for some sort of physical activity for her leisure. So it could be a yoga video together, it could be a dance video together, or it could be a walk. And then we actually paired that walk with meeting her teacher for next year. And we kind of made that into a CAB too, that transition, to meet her teacher for next year as she transitions from the middle school to the high school. And, made that a piece for her too. We also added in a hygiene CAB for her. We noticed just in our experiences with her that maybe there were some deficit areas with her hygiene. So we turned that into a learning opportunity for her as well. And we made sure that we had highly reinforcing supplies for her for the hygiene piece, things that she was able to pick out herself, things that brought her joy when she was able to use them, things that were not aversive. And she was able to do that really easily. And now I think told us that hygiene was the favorite thing that she likes to do with us. So that was surprising. We talked about it a little bit, but talk about why this case was different than a lot of the other cases we see around our county. And even though I know in your trainer, you probably hear about other cases around the country or around the world. So how was Maddie's case different than a majority of the other cases that you work on or that you consult on or hear about?
Yeah, this caused me to open my mind and get creative and see those CAB branches and those EOs, or those triggers that we're putting in place into the environment, completely differently. Because what I knew of SBT was we're going to create a condition, an HRE, happy, relaxed, engaged condition, with all their favorite things. We are going to put that trigger in place and then give them the tools to empower themselves and give a functional communication response to make that trigger go away and go right back to all the fun and the happy, relaxed, and engaged. And for me, it was more black and white. That's the path that we needed to go down. Maddie was different because her HRE was finishing work, right away, how she wanted to finish it, with the help, being slightly a perfectionist, making sure she got everything done before she would move on to something fun or a leisure task. And it was just really pulling that apart to figure out, okay, the EO is actually going to be, hey, you need to stop doing your work and move on to a leisure branch. And that was really hard for her. And I don't know if it's the history with her previous plan or if it is just she really likes things structured in a certain way, but teaching her to be flexible with that and moving on to a leisure branch or moving on to another assignment, which I think is going to be really important for her next year. If they're changing classes and moving from class to class, you oftentimes don't get to finish what you wanted to do or finish your work. You have to move on. And for her to be able to do that is going to be really important. And it's just a branch I hadn't seen before. So I learned so much, and it kind of caused me to think outside the box. And I really appreciated working with you and figuring that out together. So
it took us a while.
Yes, it did.
But once we got it went really fast after that.
Yes. She's like, I knew what I needed, guys. It's just,
she was telling us the whole time. You just
Yeah.
weren't listening. We just weren't listening. We just didn't have the right ear down for it, which is okay.
Yeah. Yep, that is okay.
So with
Hey Maddie, some of the time I'm gonna record some of our work so we can show everybody what a good job that you're doing.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure it's okay with you so you know what I'm doing on my phone.
do you think you'd like Matt?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
You
Sometimes she likes to see herself in a video, so maybe we can show her one.
Yeah, for sure.
Emily's here.
Maddie's here.
Again, how nice is it to work together, right?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Okay, so remember, you're gonna start some work.
Yeah.
I'm here to help you with it. And then I'm gonna say, oh, we gotta stop. And if you don't wanna stop, what can you say?
I want my way.
Pause, because I'm gonna do some work on my computer and you want to keep working and you want me to keep working with you, what could you say?
I want my way, please.
And then what will happen?
We keep working.
You got it. Good job. Okay, let's read.
Many people visit the graves of soldiers who have been killed. Many graves.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to have you stop. I'm going to answer some emails.
I want my way, please.
Nice job. Let's keep reading.
Many graves are decorated with small American flags.
We're going to practice my way one more time in a different way. Okay. So I would like to work on this, but if you want to go back to protection in the water, you can say, I want my way, please. So what do you think? I would like to work on this, but if you want to work on this, you can say, I want my way, please, to finish this. What are you thinking? What would you like to do? Would you like to finish this one, or do you want to start a new one?
Finish it.
Okay, then you could say, I want my way,
I want
please.
my way, please.
Sure thing, let's finish it.
What does camouflage mean?
Ooh.
What does
Okay, I'm gonna have you pause and we're gonna do this one instead.
I want my way, please.
What would you like to do?
Finish.
Okay, let's do it. Nicely done.
What is the definition of spotless?
Have you ever heard that word?
Yep.
Spotless. Do you know what it means?
I don't know.
Okay, let's take a break right now. I'm gonna.
I want my way, please.
Oh, not right now, honey. We can try it in a little bit, okay?
Okay.
Thanks. I know, it's so much fun, isn't it? Okay, so you and I are going to teach Emily some of the phrases we've been working on. Together, we can hold hands while we do it, right?
Right.
Some of the things that we've been working on that help us when we're feeling kind of flustered or we don't want to do something. And I will write them as you say them.
All right.
Okay, so what are some of the things we've been working on?
I want to finish reading a book.
Okay, excellent.
Hey. Hey, all right, hey. Finally.
What else?
Oh.
I want to finish my work.
Excellent. What else?
I want my way, please.
Wow, you are excellent at remembering this. Okay.
I picked D.
Okay, here's one that we tried on Monday. It was about skipping the problem. Do you remember what that one was?
Yeah.
Remember what we said?
Can I skip this one, please?
Yes, excellent.
Okay, take a letter.
Miss Lindsay, you're here.
I'm here. You're here too. I'm so excited to work with you. Want to hold hands while we work? Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Okay. What's another one that we've been working on? There was one where you had the word help in it. Remember when you were feeling stuck? What was something that you could say?
Can you help me, please?
Can you help me, please? Sure thing.
Yeah, I can simulate one line.
That's it right there.
5 cents.
There's the back of it. Good for you. Good working. Okay, Mads, I'm gonna take a break and do some email.
I want to finish my work.
You want to finish it together? Okay, let's do it. Thanks for telling me. What one are we working on now?
Dying.
Nicely done.
Figures out notes.
Ready? I'm ready.
You ready? Go ahead.
So you had one not long ago.
How old did you turn? 14. Yeah.
Oh, you gotta get that.
All right, does yours have a hat?
No.
Oh, man. All right, I'll take the hat ones off. Your turn. This is going to be fun having you next year.
Do I have blonde hair?
No blonde hair.
I saw blonde in this picture.
But no blonde hair on this one. You're trying to guess what this one looks like. No, this one doesn't have blonde hair.
I don't know.
All right, take all the blonde hairs out.
I got Anita. You choose Anita.
All right, take David out, take Anita out, take Joe out, take Charles out.
Since we've started it, what changes have you noticed in Maddie?
I've noticed a world of changes. I think January is about when we got rolling. And I feel like ever since then, she is far more agreeable. She's far more flexible. I feel like she's very tolerant. Like I no longer, frankly, at the start of the year, I felt like I walked on eggshells with her. Felt like everything I'd be like, I'm afraid to tell her, or I'm afraid to bring this up to her, or to say no. And now I feel like I'm able to tell her no, and I'm able to kind of find this box of room where I can kind of like agree with her. Like she just seems mellow, calm, and happy to be at school. Things still bother her, but they're not these like explosive reactions to the point where I'm like, like I really don't feel like that anymore with her. I feel like I can talk to her. I feel like I can have a conversation with her. And I feel like she's able to like problem solve better and work through her emotions. And I'm really good to add that she is incredibly good at finding a loophole. And she is a complex thinker. When I talk to her, I go, should I say this or should I not? Like I'm thinking like steps ahead of her. And she is brilliant. We all know that, like brilliant. She can figure out a loophole. She can figure out, at this time I don't get this, then, and she's very, very good at that. I think it should make you guys feel, again, more confident, because if you have to deal with a kid that's good at that, you know now that it's effective with Maddie, in my opinion. But because I was concerned at a point in time, like, is she going to either like literally outsmart the system, or is she going to outwit us? I don't know. And I'm really, really satisfied with the results that had happened.
I think it probably makes sense why her CAB branches were more complex, just based off that comment of she is a complex thinker, and the way she looks at her environment and wanting to get her needs met, she's going to find a way to do it.
Like she loves to be, in the middle of it and figuring out the system and figuring out the loopholes. And that's how she rolls.
And I hope, and even if she enjoys it, I think that's great. If she's like enjoying, figuring out a system and figuring out the loopholes. My hope for her is that she will eventually feel like she doesn't have to, because she knows that the people in her environment are going to like honor what she asks for or honor her needs. Yeah. So my hope is that maybe the anxiety of that will decrease a little bit as time goes on.
I think it has. Like
good.
I think it has, because again, I feel like she is just more tolerant and agreeable. And before, everything was an issue with her. Everything, like things like the lunchroom, I could not even bring that up at the start of the year, or even halfway through the year, until this SBT started. And her anxiety seems lower. The other thing that I don't know if this is worth mentioning, is we modified her behavior plan. So we took away the levels. So not only did we implement SBT, but the levels went away at the same exact time. So it was like, all right, we're going to give you this, but we're going to take away the thing that you absolutely hate. And I think she ended up realizing like, maybe SBT is helping me, and SBT, like she cares about it, because one, it was a one-on-one time and she loves that, but she was learning to use her words and use her vocabulary properly. And yes, I'm very satisfied with that. It feels good that I can send her off to high school with where she's at right now. And the other thing is, like, she didn't qualify for summer school because she's had such a stellar year. She's been
Have you seen in her from when you first started implementing the process to now?
I think for her, the biggest thing is that I've seen her be able to generalize those skills. She and I have a long relationship. We've known each other for a long time. And I think most people work great in a one-on-one setting with a trusted partner. But when we had to generalize it kind of outside of us, that was the part that I saw being a really big change for her. She was able to use some of her empowering phrases. She was able to tolerate unpleasant situations or non-desired situations better than she was before. It doesn't mean that she liked them, but she was able to tolerate them better in the sense of knowing that she was being heard, knowing that she was being appreciated, and, allowing her to voice her opinion and have a part of that discussion, I think really made her calm down in the sense of having to react to every single demand that was placed on her.
Yeah, and you can definitely see those in the videos throughout the presentation. And speaking of the videos, you've just done a really phenomenal job of being super transparent with Maddie, genuine, authentic, and really making sure that she's assenting to all the activities that you guys are doing. So why do you think that's important? Why do you think it's an important component of SBT, but just in your practice in general?
I think that's a really good but difficult question for me because I'm not really trying to be authentic. Like, it's not like I sat with her and was like, oh, you know what? I need to be a certain way with her. It's just the way that I teach with her. And I think everybody wants to be heard. I think everybody wants to be part of their own plan and their program, regardless of how it went previously. And I wanted to get her opinion on things. I genuinely wanted to know what she wanted to know, just like I would with any other working relationship. And I think she understood that. I think that she realized I wasn't trying to trick her into anything. I wasn't trying to act strange around her or, do something totally new and unheard of. I was really trying to figure out what we could do to make things better for her at school. And I think she understood that, just knowing that I was going to teach it to her that way. That was a really bad answer.
No, I don't think so at all. I think
it's a really hard question.
It is a hard question. And I think it's hard, especially if that's just naturally a part of who you are.
Yeah.
Versus,
like me be like, well, normally I'm fake, but I was going to be different for her.
Well, versus people who don't necessarily have those values in their practice and are more coming from that like compliance-based approach, where that's just a part of your values, as a BCBA and how you practice. So it's just easy for you to do that.
I think, the perspective of like the actual planning of it is important, but I think, that after I leave my 3 times a week session, I think is a more important piece. What does it actually look like for her, outside of my sessions with her?
Yeah. And I remember you saying you had known her since preschool, but I guess I didn't keep that in my mind. And that's just awesome to think about now that like you were the one implementing it with her, since you really have seen her throughout the years and know her so well. And for you to be a major part of that shift is really awesome.
I think so too. I'm glad I was able to do it. What components in the process do you think led to socially significant outcomes for Maddie? What are those like kind of those biggest components to the program?
I think specifically in Maddie's case was having a team be willing to try something new. Maddie had a developed plan that had been in place for quite some time, as I understood it. And it really wasn't, it was very different from what skill-based treatment has to offer. So the fact that the team was willing to try something new. And then I think in this case too, we had some of those barriers of logistics, like you spoke about. And Emma, this is a brand new teacher, first year, and she was willing to dive into it, but she also has about a million other things on her plate. And so she was willing to let somebody else come in and be lead implementer while observing and learning from that and seeing, how can I generalize this? So I think that was huge in order for this to be successful. I also think the patience the team had, we completed the PFA twice and still didn't have a super clear-cut answer. So I think working with, as a team and running things through Train the Trainer, we were able to figure out what a specific CAB branch could be for her. So patience and open-mindedness, I think, is what led to this going well for Maddie.
About the process altogether, what are some of your biggest takeaways? And then kind of the second piece to that is, what do you think you could apply to your next case or cases in the future?
I think, I mentioned just the unique CAB branch, but I think in most cases that I work, the students are generally a lot younger than Maddie was, or Maddie is. So being able to run SBT in a middle school setting, and she's almost in high school, just making sure you're age appropriate and her dignity is protected, and making sure that we're running it in a way that's really portraying her as the age she is, which is a middle school age girl. So I think I just learned so much of how to do creative CAB branches, and then also how to apply this to older students, that I feel a little more confident if another case comes up in a middle school or high school setting. I think one of my favorite parts of watching her videos back is when Lindsay puts in the EO and she says, "Can I have my way, please?" And then Lindsay's like, "Oh, yeah, of course, we can keep doing that." And she stops and she giggles about it. Like, I can't believe this is happening. I said, "No, I want to keep doing this." And like, yeah, let's do it. And she just laughs at, wow, I can advocate for myself. I have the power right now. And I love that for her.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
United States of America. It is celebrated on November 11. Businesses, banks, and schools are closed on this day.
Oh, you know what, Mitch? I'm gonna have you pause here. I'm gonna do some emails, okay?
I want my way, please.
All right, let's keep working. Thanks for telling me.
The